You know that feeling of loneliness? The kind that just aches? Well, today we're jumping into a story about how a big, goofy-grinned stray dog shows up and changes everything. Not just for one lonely girl, but for her whole town. Let's get into Because of Winn-Dixie.
I mean, what an opening line, right? It's just perfect. One second you're sent out for groceries, just a normal, boring errand, and the next, you're walking back with a dog. This is exactly where it all kicks off, in this sleepy little Florida town on what was supposed to be a totally forgettable day.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our main character is India Opal Buloni. She's just 10 years old, she's the new kid in town, living in this really quiet house with her dad, who she just calls the preacher. Her whole world feels kind of small and, well, lonely. It's a heavy kind of loneliness, you know, especially for a kid. And then bam, right in the middle of the Winn-Dixie grocery store, all heck breaks loose. The manager is freaking out, stuff is flying everywhere, and right in the middle of this chaos, there's this big, scruffy, smiling dog. He's an absolute mess, but he's acting like this is the greatest day of his life. And that smile? It's just something else. So the manager starts threatening to call the dog pound. And you can just imagine, something inside Opal just clicks. She does this incredibly brave, impulsive thing. She just yells out, "That's my dog!" And to sell it, she shouts the first name that pops into her head, Winn-Dixie. And just like that, this big, messy dog who looks like a piece of old carpet has a name and a person.
Okay, so now for the hard part, convincing her dad. And he's a quiet, serious guy, you know? But Opal is smart. She doesn't say, "I want a pet." No, she frames it perfectly. She tells him she found a less fortunate. And that line, it works. Maybe the preacher sees something of their own situation in this poor, stray dog. He says yes, and just like that, Winn-Dixie is part of the family.
And this is where you start to see the real magic of Winn-Dixie. He isn't just a dog. He's like a key. He unlocks a door inside Opal, giving her the courage to do something she's never done before. She walks up to her dad and asks him to tell her about her mom, the mom who left when she was just a toddler. She asks for 10 things. Just 10 things, one for every year she's been alive.
And amazingly, the preacher does it. He actually starts talking. He starts painting this picture for Opal, piece by piece. Her mom was funny. She had the same red hair and freckles as Opal. She was amazing with plants, but, you know, a total disaster in the kitchen. Apparently, she could even burn water. But she loved a good story.
But it's not all fairy tales. The preacher shares the tough stuff too. The things that are so hard for a dad to say. He talks about how her mom wasn't happy, how she struggled with drinking, and that she left. But he makes sure Opal knows the most important thing of all, number 10, is that her mom loved her very, very much. And for Opal, these 10 facts become like a treasure map to a person she's desperate to know.
So, Winn-Dixie doesn't stop with just unlocking Opal's family history. Oh no! This dog seems to have a special radar for lonely people. He starts leading Opal to all these characters around town, the ones who are kind of forgotten, and he pulls them and their stories right out into the open.
First up is the library, and you gotta love this part. The old librarian, Miss Franny Block, sees Winn-Dixie standing up against the window and she completely freaks out, thinking he's a bear. It's this hilarious mix-up, but it breaks the ice, you know? And it's the start of this really sweet friendship, all because they both love a good tale.
Next, Opal needs to get Winn-Dixie a collar, so she gets a job sweeping up at the local pet store. The guy who runs it, Otis, is super shy and doesn't say much. But one day, Opal walks in and sees something, well, magical. Otis is playing his guitar and every single animal is out of its cage. We're talking birds, bunnies, even the snakes, and they're all just sitting there, totally silent, listening to his music. It's this incredible moment where you realize there's way more to this quiet guy than meets the eye.
And maybe the most important friend of all is Gloria Dump. The neighborhood kids all call her a witch, but Winn-Dixie leads Opal right to her overgrown, jungle-like backyard. And Gloria, she just gets it. She listens to Opal, really listens, and she tells her to tell her everything so she can see her with her heart. And wow, isn't that just what Opal needed to hear?
So as Opal is making all these friends, she's also collecting their stories. And one of those stories holds the key to understanding what ties all these different people together. It's this hidden sadness they all seem to carry. And believe it or not, she learns about it through a piece of candy.
Yeah, so Miss Franny tells her the story about her great-grandfather Litmus. He went off to fight in the Civil War, and when he came back, everything was gone. His family, his home, everything. And in the middle of all that sorrow, he had this idea. He wanted to make a candy that tasted like life. You know, a little bit sweet, but also a little bit sad. And that's how the litmus lozenge was born.
This is such a brilliant idea in the book, because when Opal starts sharing this candy, it's like a truth serum for sadness. Everyone who tastes it tastes something different, something personal to them. Gloria tastes people leaving, Otis tastes what it was like to be in jail. It makes Opal realize that everybody's walking around with their own secret sadness.
And that right there is a huge moment for Opal. It's like a light bulb goes off. She's not the only one. She's not the only lonely person in this town. And she makes this amazing shift. Instead of just wishing for a friend for herself, she starts thinking, what if I can be the friend for them?
She's been reading Gone with the Wind to Gloria, and it gives her this idea. It's so simple, but it's kind of revolutionary too. She's going to throw a party, not some big fancy thing, just a get-together in Gloria's backyard for all the lonely people she's met.
And get this, her guest list is amazing. It shows just how much she's grown. She doesn't just invite Miss Franny and Otis and Gloria. Nope. She invites Amanda, the girl with the pinch-faced look. She even invites the annoying Newbery boys. She's realized that underneath all that, they're probably just as sad as everyone else. She's not just planning a party. She's trying to build a community.
So she and Gloria get to work. They turn that overgrown yard into something out of a fairy tale. They've got egg salad sandwiches, something called dump punch, and they hang crepe paper and candles all over the place. It's simple, homemade stuff, you know, but it's all heart. They're literally creating this little island of light and music for everyone.
So think about it. Opal's summer started with her just wanting one friend. That's it. But what she found because of this dog was so much bigger. She figured out that you don't find a cure for loneliness, you build it. It's about being brave enough to invite people in, to share your own stuff, and to listen to theirs, the sweet and the sad parts. And maybe that's the real takeaway here, right? That the best way to stop feeling so alone is to be the person who makes a space where everybody feels a little less alone together.